Yo, yo, yo. Hey, what's up? What's going on, guys? I'm sorry. Slow start to the day today, man. I gotta start doing better. I've been slipping, dude. Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? What's going on? How are you? Happy Thursday. I'm slipping, yo. I'm slipping. I go through spurts, man. I'm like really good about making sure we're right on time, and then sometimes I get through these lulls where I'm a little bit late. I'm hitting a lull. All the holiday times and then getting sick, man. I got to get out of this funk. I got to start getting this back to being right on time, man. So, I apologize. What's up? It's good to see you guys. It's really just a play to make sure everybody's here when we're ready to start. You know what I mean? It's strategy, dude. It's strategy. What's up, guys? How you doing? Dude, it's Thursday. The weekend's coming, baby. Keep on grinding. Keep on grinding. We got day 32 of Breath of the Wild. We're getting close to end game. Real close. At least what I wanted to have completed by end game. So we're going to keep pushing for side quest stuff. Yeah. We've got a few side quests left. And really, that's about it besides trials. So we're doing side quests. Try to get some trials done, and then it's Ganon. That's the Jam-a-Lam. And then we'll be moving on to the forest, baby. Playing some forest before Superfuse hits on the 31st. Cool? Yeah. Try to get a good couple of weeks of the forest in before Superfuse hits. And then Hogwarts Legacy. That's our play, man. That's our schedule. By the way, for those of you that don't know, schedule has been finished for us for tentative schedule. Anyways, for the remainder of this year. It is a working schedule. It will change throughout the year as we get definitive release dates for titles we're interested in playing, which there's a list of those in the schedule as well. But at least we have some kind of tentative schedule set up for the remainder of the year, which can be found right there at our exclamation point schedule command. Yeah. What's your Hogwarts house? Slytherin for sure. Yeah, no doubt. Evil all the way. Evil all the way. I haven't done my house yet stuff on there. I heard it wasn't in depth enough. I know they had the house stuff set up for you to be able to answer some questions and already get put into a house for the game. But what I heard was that it was not nearly deep enough, and it was really, really shallow. Really. Yeah. I haven't legit been put into a house. So that's what I'm going for though. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see. But that's what I'm shooting for. Slytherin. I want to be a bad guy. I haven't ever done a legitimate any kind of legitimate placement into a house for the Harry Potter world or anything. And I know they have some stuff set up already. They did it a long time ago for you to be able to go ahead and get set up with an account for the Hogwarts Legacy stuff and find out what house you would be put in, but I wasn't interested after I heard some other people talk about how shallow and rough it was. So I figured I'd wait until the game came out. Yeah. Yep. But yep. Let's go ahead and do what we do. We'll get into the oh, okay. Word. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Cool. I'll try to take a look at it if I can find some time. I appreciate that. That's cool. I knew they had something like that somewhere. I just didn't know what the name of the site was, and I hadn't ever done it before yet. So I'm wondering what the game is going to be like for determining what house you're going to be in. That's what I'm interested in. Yeah. If they're going to do some kind of questionnaire like they did before, but be maybe a little bit more in depth, hopefully a little bit more fleshed out and developed a little bit better. And then if you don't like it, they'll just let you pick. That's what I'm hoping they'll do, because rather than make people go through the process over and over until they get the house they want, just let people pick. It'd be cool to see people be able to go through the process, but oh yeah, Ravenclaw's cool. I like that. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that end up with a mixture, right? I think there's a lot of people that end up with like a mixture. Ultimately, you'll be put into one house, but a lot of people end up with like qualities that could potentially get you into numerous different houses. Yeah, that's usually the way I've heard that works. But we'll see. We'll see. So let's go ahead and get into our video gaming news segment before we get into day 32 of Breath of the Wild. Cool. We are listening to Subnautica this morning. These are the this is the jams. This is the jams that we're listening to. Yeah, Subnautica. Cool. Very cool. We're gonna actually. I'm trying my very best to finally get this played this year. Not just Subnautica base game, but also the Below Zero DLC. I have both of these, and I have not played them, but they are supposed to be amazing survival, adventure, base building, resource gathering type games. So I am really story-rich games as well to an extent. So I'm very, very excited about trying to get this played this year. It's right now on the schedule for late this year, but I need to get it played. I do know it's a great game. Soundtrack's amazing. So if you like what you're listening to, at least go check out the soundtrack, okay? Let's go. Go ahead and cut that music. Get into our gaming stuff. Let's go. Cool, cool. Let's see what we've got going on in the world of video games. No way, dude. Skull and Bones delayed again, guys. So Ubisoft delays Skull and Bones, cancels more games, and announces 20 more Assassin's Creed games set to release within the next year. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, yeah. It's good to see you. Happy Thursday. Hope work goes well. Interesting. Look, man, I rip on Ubisoft a lot, but it's because it really does seem like they have been having a tough time as of late coming up with some getting games pushed out that are anything outside of what they're used to developing. And here we go, man. So we'll read into this, all right? See what we got. Type economic challenges. Ubisoft does. We'll see what's going on. What? Oh, Hogwarts Legacy voice cast has been revealed as Xbox is gearing up for their showcase, which is going to take place on the 25th of January. Okay, 25th of January at 2 o'clock p.m. our time here in this channel, and we will watch it live. Okay, we will stream. We will stream it live. Excuse me, here in this channel. I try my very best to watch as many showcases as possible with the community here when they're live. Sometimes they happen at really weird times for us outside of our normal stream times, and quite often I'll try to like go late to watch them if it's possible for me. But sometimes we'll just have to watch the VOD the next day. But quite often we hit them while they're live, and this one we should be able to hit live unless they end up changing the date or time or something. So looking good for us to be able to watch this live, and it's actually a really good time for us. So we should get our news segment in, a full day of streaming whatever game we're playing at that point, which I actually think should be The Forest, and it's 2 weeks from yesterday. So it's on a Wednesday, and after the gaming content, we'll just roll straight into watching the showcase, and we'll just end the stream on that. But we'll see what's up with the voice cast here, okay? Yep, we already know. Oh. Developer Direct will not show any news regarding Starfield. Interesting. The Last of Us fans warned of scams involving fake PC games? Ooh. Okay. Looks like another gaming executive has bounced from Amazon Gaming. That's to note there. We'll take a look. We'll peek at that real quick. PS Plus Extra Deluxe and Premium games for January. Let's take a look for everybody. Looks like Razer has done some good stuff at CES, affording them some awards. Let's take a look, see what they did. We know that they have the handheld device aimed at cloud gaming. We'll see what else they did potentially. Razer's pretty inventive, you know. They're also very expensive. Razer tends to be a very expensive company, you know. But people tend to like their products. I have never really, I can't attest myself to any kind of experience with their products. But I know we have a good amount of community that have some experience with their products and have had a pretty solid experience. But you're going to pay for that experience, right? But let's see what they've got coming and what they showed off at CES. Ubisoft developer says achievements and trophies are bad for gaming. Interesting. Interesting. We have some dedicated trophy and achievement hunters in this community, and I am going to be interested in some feedback from specifically those individuals that are very dedicated in that craft in the gaming world when we read this article. What? Unannounced Lenovo Android gaming prototype sold in China. Surprising similarities to Logitech. Look, we're going to get this is something where you're seeing a lot of very similar handhelds nowadays, you know. After Switch made the really the prominence of the handheld be shown in what it could do, right? Nintendo's always had handhelds, but they haven't been at the forefront of gaming. The Switch brought the handheld back to the forefront of what gaming is and can be. Not that it's all that gaming is, but it definitely showed that handheld gaming can be something at the height of gaming nowadays. And it's big in part because of the advancements in mobile technology. Now, everybody, let's not leave out the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck obviously came in later, right? But the Steam Deck is an amazing device. And outside of just playing Nintendo stuff, like the Switch does, the Steam Deck showed that even newer technology can do very, very, very well in PC gaming. So now we've got, with the cloud gaming kind of becoming more popular, we have a ton of these handheld devices coming in that look very similar to one another with very similar hardware that are all aimed at the cloud gaming space. And I'm not going to take a deep dive into this article, but just know there are a lot of these, Razer's got one. Logitech and Tencent collaborated on one. Now Lenovo's got one. There are a lot of them. That is just some of the big name stuff. This is outside of any, of the name, not household type manufacturers that you're not used to hearing about. There are a lot of handhelds out there, and most of them outside the Switch and the Steam Deck are aimed at a cloud gaming space. The issue I have is that these are devices that are really, really, really heavily dependent on having a constant internet connection. And whether it be an actual, a Wi-Fi connection or a mobile connection, something like that, it needs connectivity. Okay, they need connectivity to allow you to get the cloud gaming connection, right? To get cloud gaming done, and you have to have subscription services too, right? So there are some caveats to a lot of these devices that are coming out. I would say if you're interested, everybody's situation is different. There are going to be some people that gravitate towards these. Be very careful. I would say your best bet is to probably take a hard look at some of the more recognizable household names of manufacturers. You'll probably get a better quality piece of hardware and warranty, customer support if needed. But do your research also, because that's not a given. And the devices that are going to be cheaper from names you don't recognize are probably going to break down a lot faster, and you're going to have a really hard time getting any kind of support for them. Okay, so just be careful if you're going to be diving into devices like this. Final week of Google Stadia. Take a look at that. Fans are banding together. Just for awareness, I will hit on this again. Okay, Google is refunding people that have bought into the software and hardware of Google Stadia, as well as they have been collaborating with software developers to allow people to transfer saved game states over to other platforms and things like that. So I'll try to just read into this real quick and give some people awareness about making sure that you are getting what you should be getting if you are a Stadia user, because it's closing down. We've hit on this already. We'll touch on it real quick, though. We'll put it with the PlayStation stuff. Game Pass January stuff. Okay, we'll touch on it. I don't mind hitting on that because it doesn't take very long. I'll hit on it a lot in a lot of the gaming news segments, just because I want as many people to know what's coming and what's leaving from those services as possible, whether it be Game Pass or PS Plus, what have you, doesn't matter. I'll hit on those quite often in numerous news segments, just to try to get as many people awareness as possible. So for anybody that's already aware of that kind of content, I do apologize. I'm not trying to, give you content that you already know, but I am trying to make sure that people that aren't aware are receiving that information, right? So this is the wireless version of the mouse I use. I'm not big on wireless stuff. I like that connection to ensure that I'm not going to be getting any kind of disconnect, latency, anything like that within my products. But what I'll tell you is that this is a very good mouse, in my opinion. It has a pocket for you to put weight in the bottom of this if you like a heavier mouse things like that. It's got a really nice uh, amount of buttons close to your thumb, about 3 alternate buttons next to your thumb, another couple of buttons next to your index finger outside of just your regular left mouse click, and some other options as well around here on the mouse that are very nice and customizable with macros and things like that. It's a good mouse. I enjoy it very much. I've got about 3 of them, and I have never had one fail on me yet. And I've had some of these for a long time. So the wireless version is currently on sale from Best Buy for $120. What I'll say, that's a savings of $30. You have 3, do you? Just like me? Do we just become best friends? We already were, whether you like it or not, dude. So the wired version of this is like half this price. They're all blind mice. Well played, dude. What's up, Wick? The wired version of this mouse is about, I think, usually around $70, but there are multiple times throughout the year where it'll go on sale. A lot of times through Best Buy as well, but a lot of different retailers, Amazon, things like that, where you can get the version I have. It's the same exact thing, just wired, for about $30 total. So I'll throw this in chat if you're interested. But I do like this mouse a lot. But the wired version's cheaper, same thing. And if you like your stuff wired, you don't have to have wireless stuff. I would say wait around. You'll find a sale on the wired version to where you only have to pay about $30 for it. Wait, what? No way, dude. Microsoft reiterates Windows 11 22H2 is the best thing for gaming with a bit of an awkward video. Okay. We'll take a look at that. Since Windows 11 has been actually brutal for gaming previously, we'll see what that's about. Wick, how you doing, buddy? Got that up. Classic car lover. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Feeding your horsey Oreo? Sick name. Tell Oreo we said, what's up, Oreo? Quit horsing around, Oreo, and eat your food. You know? Sorry, that was terrible. Saudi Arabia has increased its stake in Nintendo once again. All right. All right. All right. Yeah, cool. It's good to see you, buddy. We've got that up. Oh, Disney Speedstorm's got a new video and gameplay demo, apparently. Okay, we'll take a peek at that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's good to see you. Did you have good holidays and everything? Microsoft says the new Xbox update makes its first what? Carbon aware console. Interesting. Okay, let's take a peek at that. Sure did? Good, good. Yeah, I had great holidays. They were just exhausting. A lot of traveling. We did a long travel for the Christmas holiday and spent some time away to see some family we hadn't seen in a while, and then came back for I streamed for 2 days and then left again for what was it, 2 more days, I think, where we went traveling again. It wasn't as far, but it still travels. So I was just real worn out, you know. But it was really good. Thanks for asking. John Carpenter shoots down Dead Space movie rumors. Okay, that's all we need to know about that for right now. PS5 owners get good news following concerning PlayStation report. Okay, this is about the overheat stuff. Let's take a look. Does anybody actually still play Marvel's Avengers? Aren't they? Didn't they already announce that they're like going to quit really supporting this game after 2023? This game had a pretty brutal release. It got criticized pretty heavily for a lot of the monetization stuff. I'll take a peek at it real quick if anybody is playing, but just know that we've already kind of hit some articles talking about how Marvel's Avengers is not really looking to have any more content for this game after this year. So, I don't know. We'll look at it though. Xenonauts 2 coming to early access first half of this year. We got a lot of news. There's been a lot of news here recently. Pretty crazy. Oh, that Mortal Kombat 2 leak has been taken down. There was a huge leak that included a lot of stuff about Mortal Kombat 2 that was kind of developed but never actually included in the game's release. So there's a lot of files and stuff that were kind of in the game but not part of the game, if that makes sense. And we saw a lot of it. It was pretty wild. Apparently that leak has been taken down at this point. Kind of wild. We've already got that up. Texas Chainsaw Massacre released a new behind-the-scenes video and new track from their companion album. Interesting. Take a quick peek there. New Dead Space remake trailer leaks before release. I think that our buddy Tinwin actually shot this to me. So shout out to Tinwin. But last night shot this to me. And we'll take a look at this. So shout out to Tinwin. Thanks, buddy. Let's see if this is the same thing he shot me. I think it is. I didn't get to look at watch what Tinwin sent last night because I wanted to try to watch it with you guys, but I think this is going to be the same thing. We'll make sure of it. We talked about this over the past 2 days. Not going to dive into that. TLDR. Okay. A lot of the devs from the studio owned by Microsoft that makes the Forza games have left and started their own studio called Maverick. Maverick Gaming. So I don't know necessarily what that's going to mean for Forza moving forward, but a lot of the big names from that studio have left and started their own studio outside of Microsoft. So we'll see what that means. We've talked about this as well. Accessibility controller for PlayStation that is going to be released pretty soon. Very neat. Okay, let's stick with that. New Dead Space remake trailer leaks before release. The launch trailer for EA's upcoming remake of Dead Space has leaked prior to its official reveal. When it comes to new releases in 2023, Dead Space is slated to be the first major AAA title that will hit store shelves. As such, EA is in the midst of promoting the game heavily and is currently gearing up to let loose a new trailer tomorrow, which would be today because this came out yesterday. Prior to that time, however, this latest video for the title has already appeared online. In a new leak that stems from Valve's Steam platform for PC, the launch trailer for this remake of Dead Space can now be viewed. The trailer itself features a number of new gameplay clips from the project to go along with a handful of cinematics that will seemingly appear in the game. As for how this trailer ended up leaking in the first place, well, those at EA likely uploaded the video to Steam in advance of pushing it live within the coming day. Rather than it being completely private, though, Steam users found an unlisted version of the video, which has allowed them to watch it in advance. Yeah, Dead Space's remake release is set for January 27th. I've talked about this. Look, we played all the original Dead Space games this past Scaretober for us. October is what we refer to as Scaretober here. We play horror games all month. This past Scaretober, we played every single one of the Dead Space games. Dead Space 1 and 2 are amazing. There's a reason why they are so iconic. Very good gameplay, cool story, great sound effects, amazing ambiance, great environment, a lot of anxiety-inducing situations. They are great games. The third one, while fun, is more of an action-based horror game. It's not scary. It's a co-op game. It's, it didn't really hit the mark that the first two did. I think that we're gonna watch this trailer. I think that what a lot of people have been wanting Dead Space to come back for a long time, and I've talked about this before, but I think Glenn Schofield was the main creative mind / developer behind the original Dead Space games. Glenn Schofield is also the creative mind and lead developer director behind the Callisto Protocol, which released in December. Unfortunately, that game didn't do great. I don't think it really scratched that itch that a lot of people had for Dead Space. What that means, I think, is that now a lot of people are going to look to Dead Space Remake from EA as hopefully the title that will scratch that itch. So we'll see what happens. The things I have seen from the Dead Space Remake through its development process so far look pretty good. It is going to be different. That's the hard thing, I think, for developers to do, though. You're trying to really walk a line between modernizing an older game. Dead Space is like 2007, I think, originally. So they're trying to walk a line between modernizing a game, not just graphically, but gameplay-wise and stuff too, while still keeping it true to the original content. And it's not an easy thing to do. But from what I've seen, it does look like they're doing a decent job of that. We won't really be able to tell until the game releases and we see more about what exactly they've done with the game. But let's take a look at this trailer. Is that the same one that I think so. It's just going to be the 4K version of it, I think. This is the one. This is the one that Tinwin sent me. Let's watch this real quick. All right. Mature. Be aware. Mature content. A lot of violence. Okay.
I think it's me. It's all falling apart here.
Hey, Isaac. Coming? Where is everybody? Up there! No!
Ooh. That's brutal.
This transformation.
God, the Dead Space 1 was such a good game. What I think was funny is the game was kind of clunky, but it, and I don't know that they meant for the game to feel clunky on purpose, but it worked. It was clunky, and I think it worked because Isaac looks clunky, you know? It's really funny.
Our homecoming will be truly divine.
There's still a way out for us. But we don't have much time.
Okay. So, let's be sure that's the same exact thing, just 4K version. The same, did they? No, they. Why is that happening? Is it switching over to it automatically? This is the one we just watched, right? Why is it doing that?
Brace yourselves. It's gonna smash us into the hull.
Yeah, this is the one we just watched. That's weird.
I think it's...
That was weird. Hold on, now. Should be the same thing, just one's 4K, I'm pretty sure.
Brace yourselves. It's gonna smash us into
Okay.
the hull.
Cool. So, same thing. Now, Timwin brought up some stuff. Let's take a look at something real quick. I don't know. Oh, dude, what the crap? Let's look at the original, what's the original Dead Space release trailer? Should be 2007, I think. "14 years ago, Dead Space launch trailer." All right. So this is the old one, right? We just watched the remake. This is the release trailer, the launch trailer for the original Dead Space game now.
I'm sorry about everything. I wish I could just talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening.
How many times you watched that thing? Guess you really miss her. Don't worry, we're almost there. You'll be able to look her up.
Look, this game holds up, though. I'll say that. It was still an absolute pleasure to play this game. Even after 14 years.
The USG issue.
I would say right there with like the BioShock games.
Her class.
Why is it all dark? I don't see any running lights.
This is mutiny. Hold it. By Maritime Law, Article 5469, I hereby declare Captain Benjamin Mathias unfit for duty. The mark must be delivered to the church. I'm sorry, Ben, but I can't let you do this.
USG Ishimura, this is the emergency maintenance team of the USG Kellion responding to your distress call. Come in, Ishimura.
Never heard of a total communications blackout on one of these things. You'd think with 1,000 people on board, someone would pick up the phone.
We need more help. We don't have the resources to deal with this many cases. Nobody would tell us what's happening.
There should be a security detail in here.
Yeah? Well, there's not. There's nobody here.
Looks a little bit different, huh?
Where are you?
14 years of gaming advancement, engine advancement. Look, this game is great.
Your future, the future of our race ends here.
2008, my bad. 2008. That was my fault, not 2007. But there's your difference right there. So hopefully you get a bit of a look at what the OG Dead Space release trailer is there compared to the new one. I mean, it's, who knows? EA could have done this as a hype machine kind of thing, They're like, oh, this wasn't supposed to. It's just a trailer, dude. It's just a trailer. And, the game is out in like less than 2 weeks. Then, I'm sure EA is not throwing a fit about, adding a bit more hype to this title. Again, Callisto Protocol did not hit that itch for a lot of people that were wanting Dead Space that people were expecting it to. So, EA is going to be hyping this up more than it already has been to the best of their ability by the time it releases for people that are wanting more Dead Space. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this was kind of a ploy for them to go, just throw it out there and act like we didn't mean to release it earlier or whatever, the trailer for it. It could be a hype machine ploy. It's not a big deal. But it looks good, dude. It does look good. We've seen a lot of the development process and a lot of the videos showcasing what they've done with the game. I mean, as much as I'm not a fan of EA, they do a pretty solid job with single-player campaign games. So we'll see. Marvel's Avengers adding first 1 million BC costume this week. Jason Aaron's Avengers comic run has put a heavy focus on the Avengers of 1 million BC, led by Odin. The team consists of older incarnations of several Marvel heroes, including the Black Panther, Iron Fist, Phoenix, and the Star Brand. Last one's notable as a skin based on the design is set to arrive in the Marvel's Avengers video game on January 12th. In the comics, the first wielder of the Star Brand was a being named Vin. But in Marvel's Avengers, it will serve as a new costume for the Hulk. An image of the Star Brand skin can be found in the tweet embedded below. Peter, what's up, my friend? Yo, thanks again for the cheers yesterday, buddy. There you go. There's the Hulk skin coming for the Marvel's Avengers game. All right. It'll only cost you $49.99. I'm just kidding. I don't think it'll probably cost that much, but you'll probably have to pay for it. I dig his hair, though. Solid. While the Star Brand of 1 million BC will make for a very cool new option, the costumes edition does not come as a total surprise. Excuse me. Rumors surrounding the design began to circulate back in November. Remains to be seen whether we'll see additional costumes from the BC team added to the game. But Odin and Black Panther could easily fit as alternate skins for Thor and T'Challa, just as Vin does for Hulk. Other team members like Phoenix, Iron Fist, and Agamotto would be a lot tougher to pull off with the game's current roster, though. Marvel's Avengers has gained a reputation for adding a lot of skins inspired by the comics. Developer Crystal Dynamics has done a great job mining back issues to find designs that even showed up for just an appearance or two. Of course, the Avengers of 1 million BC have made several appearances at this point, playing a key role since their first appearance in Marvel's Legacy #1, which released back in 2017. Yeah, Marvel's Avengers is currently available on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series 1, X and S, Stadia, which is shutting down, so I don't recommend getting it on Stadia, and PC. Again, what we had read previously was that Marvel's Avengers hasn't been doing great. It wasn't a great release, and they're not really planning on supporting this game after 2023. So be aware of that, okay? Yo, cool. Yo, sup, Oreo? Sup. I don't know how to speak horse. So, you know, that's the best I can do. Sup. Xenonauts 2 is coming to early access in the first half of 2023. The initial response to the game has been almost universally positive. Excuse me. Man, my throat's a little weird today. Hooded Horse, appropriate, what, has confirmed that Xenonauts 2 is due to launch in early access in the first half of 2023. Check out the gameplay trailer below. Let's take a look. Xenonauts 2. It looks like XCOM 1. Legit, dude. Looks just like XCOM 1. Dude, what? That's absolutely what this is. It's an XCOM 1 ripoff, dude. What? Dude, somebody else, please tell me you know what I'm talking about. Oh my god, dude, it is! Holy crap! How are they getting away with this? That's crazy. Bro, that is so XCOM 1. Okay. The sequel to 2014's turn-based science fiction video game Xenonauts, was first announced in 2016. A very successful crowdfunding campaign followed in 2018, with Hooded Horse receiving almost 200,000 pounds of their initial 50,000 pound goal. The developer said the game would be released the same year before pushing the launch of Xenonauts. Is it Xenonauts or is it Xenonauts? Because you guys are spelling it two different ways here. I think it's Xenonauts 2, back to March 2019. It was then delayed once more. We're making good progress on the game, but in its current state, I feel like we're not ready for early access yet, said developers Goldhawk. More delays followed due to Goldhawk managing to secure additional development funding, and this gives us a lot more flexibility in terms of when we launch. Ultimately, this is the best decision for the game, and one which will enable us to come into early access with something more polished and complete, they added. After a series of successful beta tests, publisher Hooded Horse has now confirmed that Xenonauts 2 is due to launch in early access in the second quarter of this year. A demo is available to play now through Steam or GOG. We watched the trailer. Still a lot of bugs being reported. They're currently working through them. According to the Steam listing, Xenonauts 2 is a vast single-player strategy game in which you control a multinational military organization defending our planet from alien invasion. Dude, this is XCOM 1. That's so weird. It looks just like XCOM 1. On point. If you need any more info, that's wild. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre has released a new behind-the-scenes video and a new track from their companion album. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is set to release later this year. The game, okay? But to pass the time, Gun Interactive has released a new behind-the-scenes video documenting how they used motion capture to replicate the 1974 film's performances. Additionally, a track from the game's companion album has been released titled Tragic. You can check out the behind-the-scenes video above, and below you can listen to the new track. Shot on location at the House of Moves in Los Angeles and shared just this week, the video diary gives horror fans a fascinating window into the method of mocap, illustrating some of the key choreography and physical performance that goes into animating character movements. Featuring insight and commentary from the Gun team and their roster of talent, including industry veteran and horror icon Kane Hodder. This video is the first installment in a series of behind-the-scenes features focused on the craft and experience of making the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Nice, dude. Kane Hodder. Sick. So this is the song Tragic, but let's see what this, how long is this? 13 minutes.
So here we are again, just having a great time here and doing...
That's Kane Hodder, dude, Leatherface. Kane was Jason as well in some of the movies, yeah. Kane Hodder was also Jason in some of the Friday the 13th movies, that's correct.
Yes, I will.
He's iconic in the horror movie industry.
Hey everybody, Matt from Gun here. I'm on location in Los Angeles at the House of Moves. We're gonna be filming some motion capture for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'm just gonna skip some of this. I'll link it so you guys can watch the entire thing if you want.
So motion capture, what many people don't understand, is different from performance capture. There's lots of different ways to do video games. Performance capture, you get your body, your face, your voice. Motion capture is you're just doing your body.
Every single ball you see on me is a sensor the computer picks up. So when I do this, we as actors get to see on screen the animated character moving.
That's the beauty of motion capture, is that you can set up an environment anywhere. You layer out the space, and then it's your play world.
It's neat seeing, I mean, this is so many games.
The energy that I get from the other actors is the world what I need, because I have to create everything else around me. And so the one thing that's true is you. The one thing that's true is me. And then we can live together in that reality that we've created. And that's
engines
the glory
for gaming
of
being
motion capture.
Incorporated into the creation of movies and TV shows, or actors and actresses being utilized in the
or even a crouch or have a sprint
development of video games. It works both ways, man.
Or open a door,
you know?
or pick up an item. So really, it's about.
Oh, dude, I
every
can't remember for sure. Yeah, break it off separately. Yeah, I would have to look that up.
All of a sudden, you have 500 shots you have to get, which are multiple animations per shot. And then you try to book enough time to capture those and hope that you get it done. So really, it's very organized chaos.
I like that faster kind of crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot more energy there.
Yeah.
It wasn't about cutting something out, but more back on the speed and it just felt more frantic.
Really what we're looking for throughout this whole entire session is, do they look like they would if they were in the film? Really, that's what we're trying to capture. So.
And 3, 2, 1, action.
The other people that are doing motion capture are a number of very experienced motion capture actors, so that helps, just knowing the process, because it's a whole different deal than just shooting film.
I mean, movie aside, you don't do it for this many hours, at least the same thing over and over. At least you're filming like a scene for
maybe an hour. This is going to be a pretty neat video if you're into this kind of thing. Like, you can see some of the, like, what this motion capture they're doing. I'm not gonna. This is a pretty long video.
They'll see the light before this is over. So Sissy
you can see, like, how the motion
is a new
capture
character,
is being
so she's not based on the movie,
like,
which a lot of the other characters are. Considering how iconic all the other characters from Texas Chainsaw are, like.
And yet of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he's the guy you'll meet at the bar in town that'll talk to the ladies, get him feel very comfortable.
This kind of stuff.
And then bring him down to the house.
So while all you'll ever see are the models in the game, a lot of what the models are actually doing are based on all of this filming.
You know, a lot of people think
it's really, really neat.
And playing a victim
there's
is
a lot
pretty
more that goes
easy,
into it, I think.
It really
in
does
a lot of
a
the
lot
games nowadays,
of
especially
damage to your body and to your emotional state, and I feel like not a lot of people can get to that vulnerable state.
I take the victim work very seriously, because it is a lot of trauma, a lot of work to get into that mindset and also ground yourself through the reality of the characters. And it's that.
I mean, this is not necessarily anything new either. I mean,
the rise of energy where our
live
action,
action,
the hair on the back
incorporation
of our
of video games. I mean, you go all the way back to things like Mortal Kombat,
living through the eyes, and really connecting
Prince
with
of
your
Persia,
partners.
stuff like that.
So
those
great.
games
They're
from
feeding
way
all this
back were
wonderful
utilizing
energy, and it's just
real life
smothering
capture
it definitely helps that
human
sort of
beings to incorporate
emotion
into the games.
come out of a video game.
It just advanced a great deal to what is being done in games nowadays. So I'll let you guys watch it. There's also the song here that's been done. Okay, this game looks pretty cool, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff here for anybody that's interested to take a look. Okay, very neat stuff. Very neat stuff. PS5 owners get good news following concerning PlayStation report. Okay, we have read an amount of stuff here recently in the news about the potential concerns and possible issues long term that people can have stemming from overheat issues when people are leaving their PS5s in a vertical upright orientation as opposed to a horizontal flat orientation for their PS5 consoles. Okay. PS5 owners can finally breathe a sign of relief when it comes to recent concerns that have come about with the console. Just a couple of days back, a new report came about stating that PS5 consoles, one moment. Apologies. Let's do this again. PS5 owners can finally breathe a sigh of relief when it comes to recent concerns that have come about with the console. Just a couple of days back, a new report came about stating that PS5 consoles that were displaying in a vertical fashion had a chance of being damaged over the long haul. A chance. It was not a definite thing that all of these were going to have this issue, but we had seen some pictures and everything too of some of the liquid metal within, right? Leaking out of what was supposed to be this seal to keep this liquid metal is the cooling material inside this pocket that was supposed to be airtight, and the seal was not necessarily always complete between these components, and it was allowing this liquid metal to leak out. Essentially, it was said that the liquid metal within the PS5 that is used for cooling could spread to other parts of the console internally when sitting vertically for too long, which could damage the hardware. Damage the hardware in numerous ways, whether it be creating shorts because of the liquid metal spreading to other parts and touching things it wasn't supposed to, or ultimately just resulting in overheat issues, right? While this news freaked out a number of PlayStation fans, it sounds like there's nothing to worry about after all. We'll see. In a new update shared on Twitter, Wololo, who originally shared this report in question about the PS5 and its potential concerns, made clear that there was a critical misunderstanding with what they had said previously. Basically, rather than this problem affecting all PS5 consoles that have simply been taken out of their box and set up, the source at the center of this ordeal instead meant that the error would only potentially impact PS5s that have been opened up for repairs. As such, if your own PS5 has never been cracked into, it should be perfectly fine. All in all, the story is quite funny to look back on now that we've received new information. While it might have seemed bewildering that standing the PS5 vertically would damage the console in the long run, longtime video game fans have already been seen plenty of strange hardware errors in the past. Yeah, as such, it's never a bad thing to be too safe with your video game consoles. PS5 owners shouldn't have to stress anymore. Look, I'm going to stand by what I've said before. Just due to what, some of the things that I've seen, this is not an official statement from PlayStation or anything either, okay? So the fact of the matter is, PlayStation 5s have overheat issues. And some of it is apparently due to a faulty seal. I am a tech guy, not just through my life. I've taken things apart, built them back together, mechanically, in electronics, all kinds of stuff. I have a degree in IT. I've also I've got some certifications and stuff, but the other thing here is like just a little bit of logic and everything. PS4 has issues. I'm not saying that anytime you have an overheat issue with your PS5 means that you're going to have specifically this issue, but any product you buy, there is a percentage of products that are going to have some kind of, unfortunately, there's always an amount of a product that is purchased that has the propensity to have a failure, right? And stating that the only PS5s that would ever have this kind of issue with the leaking in a vertical orientation, the leaking of the liquid metal cooling component, would be ones that had been opened up internally. I'm not putting a lot of stock in that. This is what I'll say. And I don't know for a fact, but my initial thought process here is that there is the potential for this to happen for people that have a PS5, putting it in a vertical orientation. Okay? The best thing you can do to ensure that you're not going to have this issue moving forward is to put your PS5 in a horizontal orientation. Okay? Does putting it in a vertical mean that you are necessarily going to end up having this issue or any kind of overheat issue? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But to be as safe as possible and to save yourself some grief in the future, there is maybe the potential for it to happen. So if you can do it, put your PS5 in a horizontal orientation. Okay? It's just the safest way to go about things for now. That's my advice anyways. We'll see what else, because there's going to be some more stuff that comes out about that. I can almost guarantee it. That seems like a weird backtrack there. I don't know. Your PS4 has overheat issues, Classic Car Lover. That sucks. That sucks. Saudi Arabia has increased its stake in Nintendo. The kingdom's public investment fund is one of Nintendo's largest shareholders. Is the PS3 worth buying? I absolutely would say so. I have one hooked up right now. This is what I would say about a PS3. One of the main reasons why a PS3 is worth purchasing, and I'll tell you what you should be looking for, is because the original PS3 models are backwards compatible. There's some caveats to that, but look, PS3 model. So, the original PS3 models looked like this, okay? This is what the original PS3 models looked like. They were big old chonky boys, or big old chonky girls, whatever you want to refer to it as. This is what the originals look like. This is actually a great pick right here. Check this out. So this is my advice. If you're going to buy into a PS3, look for one of these. Don't buy one of these. The reason being, especially if you are into playing older games, if you have a collection of PS2 and PS1 games, look for one of these that is an original 60 gigabyte or 20 gigabyte model, okay? There was also an 80 gigabyte model. Now, the difference being, the original PS3s that were either a 60 gigabyte from the manufacturer or 20 gigabyte model from the manufacturer, and I'm talking about storage space, right? You can upgrade, you can put other hard drives in there to increase your storage space if needed. So it's not a huge deal. But from the manufacturer, the ones that were 60 or 20 gigabyte models had a hardware chip in them that allowed you to run PlayStation 2 games. You can put a PlayStation 2 game in here and it will run it. Still to this day. Same thing for PS1. So PS3s that were the original models, either the 60 gigabyte model or the 20 gigabyte model, is backwards compatible with both PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 games. Okay? Which is one of the things that makes the PlayStation 3 original models so amazing. Now, the 80 gigabyte original model, which unfortunately is the one that I have right now, had a software emulation in it that allowed you to originally run PS2 games. They patched that out. So, while the original PS3 that was an 80 gigabyte model, you can still play PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation patched out your ability to play PlayStation 2 games on it. So my PlayStation 3, which is this model but was an 80 gigabyte model, doesn't have the PS2 hardware chip in it, and so I can only play PS3 and PS1 games on it physically, right? So I think PlayStation 3 is an amazing console. PlayStation 2, though, is the greatest selling console of all time. And if you want to play PlayStation 2 games on your PS3 console, you need to try to find one of these original consoles that was either a 20 or a 60 gigabyte model, okay? That's my advice. I hope that makes sense. That's what you're looking for. One of these guys. It's easy to distinguish. They're big, chunky. They've got this big PlayStation 3 across the top instead of just this subtle, like imprinted PS3. And they've got a big silver panel on the front. You know what I mean? They're bigger. These were like slimmer versions of it. That's my advice, though. That's my advice. Saudi Arabia has increased its stake in Nintendo. The kingdom's public investment fund is one of Nintendo's largest shareholders. They keep investing. Saudi Arabia has increased its stake in Nintendo to more than 6%, it's been reported. It was revealed in May of last year, filing that the country's public investment fund, a sovereign wealth fund chaired by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, has acquired a 5.01% stake in the company, a purchase said to be for investment purposes. Now, Reuters reports that a new filing has shown that the PIF has increased its stake to 6.07%, making the kingdom one of the largest shareholders in the Japanese company. Nintendo has previously claimed that when the PIF bought its initial 5.01% stake in the company, it was unaware of the transaction and first learned about the Saudi investment from news reports. Oh, cool. Yeah. That's just my advice. That's everything that I know anyways. Yeah. It has yet to comment on this latest development. Saudi Arabia's crown prince and his investment funds have made a series of investments in the video game industry in recent years. Yeah, big ones. In December of 2020, the fund acquired over $3 billion worth of stock in Activision Blizzard, EA, and Take-Two. Last year, through his electronic gaming development company, the prince acquired 96% of acclaimed Japanese developer SNK, taking over ownership of the Fatal Fury, Metal Slug, and King of Fighters studio. The PIF was also used to invest stakes of more than 5% in both Capcom and South Korean online game publisher Nexon. These investments totaled over $1 billion. Last September, the prince announced that the PIF would launch a new savvy gaming group strategy, which would include putting aside 50 billion reals, 13.3 billion US, to acquire a leading game publisher to become a strategic development partner. The PIF is reportedly central to the Crown Prince's goal of making the Saudi economy less reliant on proceeds from oil. PIF continued investments in video game companies may raise concerns for some, given Saudi Arabia's long-standing history of human rights abuses. Yes. The Crown Prince, in particular, has been accused of ordering the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi here recently. Yeah. This is a big deal. And every time I see the Saudi investing more and more in some of these companies, it's more and more of a concern. Good morning. Because of this kind of stuff. There are a lot of issues about human rights that come out of this country and the overarching government, or you know, the forces that are at the head of this country's powers. The powers that be here. A lot of human rights issues, and every time, and we keep seeing it, right? We keep seeing more and more and more and more and more, to the point of where, you know, there are. We did, Tinwin, yeah, we did. Here's the thing, dude. I'll say. Just saying. Let me finish this up. The issues where we see with the Saudi investment stuff is like, because they are so bad about issues of human rights. When, you know, ultimately because of that, I don't like seeing the investment in gaming companies at all. And what we need to understand is that the more investment that happens from companies or countries that have issues with human rights, things like that, is that it's going to affect development of games moving forward, to prevent inclusion and you know, suppress human rights, and it's going to end up propagating propaganda within these games for the ideas of suppressing human rights and things like that. The more they get their potentially anyways, but quite possibly, the more they own in these companies. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where the big concern is about a country like Saudi Arabia having so much investment in these kinds of gaming organizations. Tinwin, yes. Look, man, what I'll say is I don't see the comparison to the trailer for like a Halo game. Maybe more towards a Gears of War game. Too action focused. I can see it a little bit, but I mean the trailer you're trying to compare it to is not really fair either, though. You know, you're comparing it to an unofficial trailer, right? The trailer. So what I did do is I pulled up the official launch trailer that leaked, because we came up with an article this morning too that was like, this is the trailer that leaked, and I confirmed that was also the one you sent me on Discord, and I appreciate it. I actually I dropped you, I name dropped you, and was like, yo, our buddy Tinwin sent this to me last night, so thanks, man. But I think the better comparison is showing it bumped up against the original Dead Space, EA Dead Space release trailer, right? Now, that being said, most of the time, fan-made works tend to be better than what a lot of developers like EA are going to make, right? So I don't disagree that maybe like the Dead Space Twinkle Twinkle Little Star trailer is going to be, it was official? That's not EA's, dude. That's not EA's trailer. And I didn't think I heard it in the EA's trailer. Hold on. This is the one we listened to. The official, because I pulled up the official trailer, dude. Right here from EA. Dead Space launch trailer, dude.
Isaac, it's me. I wish I could talk
Okay,
to
but
you.
we're talking about the launch trailers, right?
I'm sorry.
That's what you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
That's what you're. I mean, we're comparing it to. Because that's what this is. This is the remake release trailer, the launch trailer.
How many times you watched that
So.
thing? Guess you really miss her. Don't worry, we're...
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. So, I mean, original release trailer to launch release trailer. I think that's the better comparison there. While, yeah, the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star one, I've seen that before, and it's actually very, very good. I think that I don't know, what were you looking for? Like a bit more of a subtle, horror creepy vibe rather than as much action. Is that what you were kind of looking for in it? Because I could see it going either way, The game has a lot of action in it, but it is a very scary game, and there's a lot of that subtle, and the original trailer is more like that. It doesn't show as much action and stuff. But I didn't think the trailer was bad by any means. I didn't necessarily see it close to being something like Halo, personally. That's just my own take, though. And it definitely showed off a lot of the action parts of the game, though. But it's EA, dude. You know what I mean? It's EA, so EA's gonna EA. I think it would have been nicer to have it be a very, very creepy trailer, a very dark, with maybe some try to jump scare stuff, because it was very action. I'm more about that, and that's what the first two Dead Space absolutely are. That's what I was trying to get across to everybody. Yeah, again, it's EA. I'm not surprised. I guess that's what I'm getting at. I wasn't going to expect anything better from EA, dude. You know what I mean? It's EA, dude. On that note, I do actually, unfortunately, expect the game to do a lot better than something like Callisto. I think Callisto Protocol was a pretty big disappointment for a lot of people that were wanting some Dead Space coming from Glenn Schofield and that development studio. I think a lot of people were disappointed in Callisto, and unfortunately, I think it's going to push a lot of people to play the remake. And everything I've seen and followed from the development of the game feels like they're riding a pretty good line about modernizing the remake and keeping it pretty true as well. So, I mean, time will tell. It's going to release here in roughly 2 weeks, and we'll see exactly. But I think that it's going to do even better than it would have originally. Like Joe Swanson. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So, I mean, this is what I've been saying the whole time since Callisto released, and just some people enjoyed Callisto, but it had its issues. It had performance issues, and a lot of people were like, it just didn't feel very good as a game. A lot of people weren't thrilled with it. And I think those people that weren't thrilled with it, that were really looking for some Dead Space action, that take back to Dead Space 1 and 2, yeah, well, let's see. This is what I'll say, though, dude. EA usually does much better with their single-player games than they do their multiplayer games. They've got a better track record anyways. So, we'll see. I don't necessarily want to see EA do well. You know what I mean? I don't like that developer. But I'm actually thinking that it'll probably do fairly decent for them. And here's the other thing I've talked about recently. If it does do moderately well for them, Dead Space 2 is a given. Dead Space 2 Remake is a given because there's so many assets that they have just sitting there from the first that are going to be able to be reused for the second. It's just going to be easy. So, I mean, as much as we don't like EA and we don't necessarily want to see them do well with a title like this, I think there are a couple of factors here that are going to probably make it happen. If it releases in a decent state, if people find it to be a fairly good representation of a modern take on the old Dead Space, people are really going to gravitate towards it because of Callisto not itching that scratch, you know. I don't know if they'll dive into Dead Space 3. I would rather see them completely. I want to see if they're going to, dude. Here's my thing: if they're going to dive into Dead Space 3, I'd rather see them change it. I'd rather see them change it after playing the game. After it wasn't necessarily bad, but it wasn't Dead Space 1 and 2. You know, and I would much rather, because Dead Space 1 and 2 hold up, and they were a lot of fun. And that's why so many people want Dead Space back, right? I mean, there's no way around that. So if they were going to do a Dead Space 3, I'd rather see them just kind of not even take a hard look at trying to do anything all that close to what Dead Space 3 was originally. That's just my own take. It was an action horror game that wasn't scary. And I would rather see something scary along the lines of what Dead Space. And they don't need to call it Dead Space 3. Don't even make it Dead Space 3. Make it Dead Space something else. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, Dead Space 3 wasn't great. I agree. I was not real thrilled with it. It was fine. It was nothing compared to the first two. So maybe if you're going with Dead Space 1 and 2 Remake, play off of those two. And don't even touch the Dead Space 3 stuff. Do something different. That would be my opinion. Or don't go the same lines that Dead Space 3 did, that's for sure. That's my opinion anyways. But I do appreciate you shooting that stuff to me. That was just my initial impression, was like, comparing, because that Twinkle Twinkle Little Star trailer is absolutely amazing. I've watched that numerous times through the past, and it's just trying to compare those two isn't all that fair, I don't think, since it wasn't like the release trailer or whatever. That's what I was trying to do, was bump up the release trailers, really. But I do think that the initial release trailer, while it's the 2008 release trailer, I think still did a better job. The new game looks good. It looks really good. But they tried to pump a lot of action in there. And that's not what these games necessarily are. There are sections of action, but a lot of it's just based on that, the good parts of what make a great horror game, and the proponent of building up the anxiety in people, right? So they could have done a really good job of making it really, really creepy, and I think they missed it too, dude. Yeah, that's probably a better way to go about it, I think. I don't think you're wrong there. I mean, they can call it Dead Space 3, that's fine, but just don't do what original Dead Space 3 was, that's fine. I was just saying they don't need to call it Dead Space 3 either. But just don't remake Dead Space 3 what Dead Space 3 was. That's all I really care about. Yeah, man. I don't know. Disney Speedstorm reveals a new video and gameplay details. When Disney Speedstorm releases later this year, the racer will allow players to select from some of Disney Pixar's most beloved characters. However, the game will also feature a bunch of other fan favorites that can serve as support crew for each driver. What? According to developer Gameloft, players can have up to 4 crew members at the same time, depending on the player's star level. More options are unlocked by progressing through races. The feature will give the game an extra level of customization as players try to find the combinations that work best for them. A trailer showcasing the feature was shared on the game's official Twitter account and can be found in the tweet below. Let's look at this real quick. Yeah, I mean, here, I'll start this over. Like I said, I mean, the game wasn't terrible or anything. It just wasn't close to Dead Space 1 or 2 for me, you know? Not even remotely.
Crews in Disney Speedstorm are made up of some of your
I've
favorite
played much
Disney
worse
and
games.
Pixar characters, and they can give you the edge you need to leave your rivals in the dust. Completing races and progressing in the game will see you unlock different crews for your
Disney
races.
Speedstorm is supposed to be a free-to-play game. We know what that means, and this is a Disney title, so you know what that means.
You can apply them on the crew tab in your racer profile. Each racer can have up to 4 different crew members applied at once, depending on their star level.
Really be able to tell
Remember,
until
though,
this comes out.
Each crew member will grant your racer a different set of stat buffs when you hit the racetrack. So choose the best combination that suits your playstyle, and your opponents
Mickey
will
Mouse
be able to
is so
keep up.
flippin' scary. I'm not. You'll never be able to convince me. Mickey Mouse is not an evil.
Behind every successful racer is
Also,
the support of a great crew.
the ultimate evil.
It's no different
being
Disney Speedstorm
of the universe. I think a lot of it has to do with that
Crews
South
in
Park
Disney
episode.
Speedstorm are made up of some of your favorite Disney and Pixar characters, and they can give you the
Interesting.
edge you need.
I mean, there are a lot of people that love Disney. Disney is not something that I have ever gravitated towards. It's not something that grabs my attention very much. There's an amount of Disney stuff that I enjoy. You know, I love The Nightmare Before Christmas, some stuff like that. But a lot of it just isn't really a big pull towards me. I would rather see traditional fairy tale stuff rather than Disney-fied fairy tale stuff, if you know what I mean. And but a lot of people love it, and we'll see. We've been keeping track. It's been delayed, right? It's been delayed. They needed more time, and that's fine as long as we're not seeing like what we're about to see today, which is another delay from Ubisoft for Skull and Bones. Can you count how many now? Can you, chat? So, you know, we'll see what happens here. But again, look, this is we talk about this a lot. Free-to-play games are a big thing nowadays. In the 6, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that's what I thought, Timwin. So free-to-play games are a very popular thing nowadays in the industry, and that's fine. And we understand that free-to-play games need to make their money somehow. Free-to-play games, that's usually going to be some kind of battle pass or a monetization shop, you know, a microtransaction shop. But there are good and bad ways to go about doing that for free-to-play games. And many of us in the gaming, as gamers and consumers, feel the same way about, or relatively the same way about what is considered good and bad. And we'll have to see how this game incorporates those kinds of mechanics, right, after it comes out. Crew members can increase a racer's top speed, acceleration, handling, boost, and combat. The support crew feature was present during last year's closed beta for Disney Speedstorm, but Gameloft has made some changes since then. Some crew members will now let a racer start with a common skill equipped, while others will increase the overall power level of your racer's unique skill or a common skill that they pick up during a race, according to the game's website. It will be interesting to see how crew members shake up the game and how they add to each player's strategy. Of course, some Disney fans will just be happy to see all of the unique faces that are added as a result. In the video, we can now see how racers like Mulan have themed crew member options, including characters like Mushu and Creaky. Meanwhile, racers that fall into the category of Mickey and Friends will be able to recruit crew members like Gus Goose, the Lonesome Ghost, Pluto, Clarabelle Cow, and more. Yeah, Speedstorm is set to release this year at some point for Switch, PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. All right, again, supposed to be free to play, but that means monetization in some form or fashion. We'll have to see how that comes out, okay? Microsoft says a new Xbox update makes it the first carbon-aware console. company is rolling out a number of energy-saving features. Microsoft has said in the process of updating Xbox consoles to make it the first carbon-aware gaming platform. The company has begun rolling out a series of new energy-saving features to testers signed up to its Xbox Insiders program ahead of their general release. Quote, being carbon-aware means reducing carbon footprint by optimizing updates and downloads to run at a time when the console can use the most renewable energy, Microsoft said on Xbox Wire. Following the new system update, Xbox will attempt to schedule console updates at times when a larger proportion of electricity is coming from lower carbon sources of the electric grid. This decreases fossil fuel dependency and CO2 emissions and could potentially save you money, Microsoft said. Following the update, Xbox Series X and S consoles will automatically be placed in the shutdown energy-saving power option, when Microsoft said cuts power use by up to 20% when consoles are off compared to sleep. This one-time update to your power settings will reduce your power consumption while your console is off and will not affect performance, gameplay, or your console's ability to receive overnight updates to system games or apps. Remote features are supported while the console is powered on. However, remote wake is not supported while the console is shut down. You can adjust your settings at any time. Choose what works best for you. Microsoft said Xbox One consoles will begin to see new power mode options, including shutdown, as early as today. Shutdown will allow Xbox One consoles to receive system, game, or app downloads overnight, just like Xbox Series X and S. With shutdown energy savings selected, Xbox One consoles will experience a slower boot time. Remote features are still supported while the console is powered on. For every 2 consoles, this is what they're promoting here. For every 2 consoles that switch to shutdown energy saving for 1 year, we will save the equivalent amount of carbon removed by 1 tree planted and grown for a decade. A new active hours energy setting also launches today for Xbox Insiders. It lets players who choose the sleep power option adjust their console's active hours, during which the system will boot quickly and be available for remote wake. Outside of active hours, consoles will fully shut down and draw 0.5 watts versus 10 to 15 watts while active. Xbox Series X and S active hours will be automatically scheduled based on previous console usage, while Xbox One players will have the ability to configure their active hours. Also, we've talked about this, the live stream for, and we've got an article up about this as well. But if you haven't heard, okay, the next Developer Direct game showcase for Microsoft and Xbox, specifically with Bethesda, is announced to happen on January 25th. That is like 13 days from now. It is going to happen on a Wednesday at 2 o'clock p.m. our time. We will watch it live in this channel, as long as nothing changes for that schedule of when they're going to have this happen live, okay? Looks like the event will provide fans with an inside look at some of the games coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass over the next few months, including Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends, and Redfall. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this, because they're saying it won't highlight anything for Starfield, okay? Game Pass January 2023. Oh, no, that's not it. Not that either. We got a lot of Microsoft stuff here. Developer Direct. Here we go. Xbox Developer Direct, date, time, Bethesda games, more. Again, January 25th, 12 p.m. Pacific time. That is 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. GMT. That is 2 p.m. our time. So the 25th, we will do the news. We will be gaming, playing The Forest. We'll do The Forest all day long. And then at 2 p.m., we will switch over and we'll watch this live together. Cool? So come hang out with us. We'll watch this together. Xbox officially announced the date and time for Developer Direct, which Xbox and Bethesda will present. This is after some sources claimed that one would be happening this month. We're still waiting to find out details on the Nintendo Direct showcase as well, though. Xbox officially announced the developer, because there's one supposed to be happening this month. Xbox officially announced the Developer Direct. This live stream will give, quote, an inside look at some of the games coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass over the next few months. Live stream will happen on January 25th at 12 p.m. PST, like we said, or 2 o'clock our time here in this channel. 2 o'clock p.m., 1400 hours. Players can tune into the live stream on Xbox's Twitch and YouTube channels, as well as Bethesda's Twitch and YouTube channels, or you can just come hang out with us cool nerds and watch it here, all right? This Developer Direct will focus on big features, extended gameplay showcases, and the latest info for Xbox games. There are actually quite a lot of studios that will be presenting their games during this live stream. The list includes Arcane Austin, Mojang, Turn 10, and ZeniMax. As of now, there are 4 games confirmed to be on the live stream. We don't know if there will be more, but with how things are worded, we can expect there to be. Here are the games that we will definitely see news of. Elder Scrolls Online. Okay. Forza Motorsport. Minecraft Legends. And Redfall. Sadly, we will not be seeing any news regarding Starfield during this live stream. They mentioned that they wanted to dedicate the proper amount of time for a deep dive on the game. As such, Starfield will be getting its own standalone show. Okay. This Developer Direct is a good and strong move for Microsoft, as this is a way for them to present their games outside of E3 or... I'm so tired of people and outlets, news outlets and stuff referring to E3, which has not actually happened for over 3 years now. I can't tell you how much that irks me. Present their games outside of the summer games showcases or other gaming conventions. Let's just say that. Or I guess outside of E3 is fine here because E3 hasn't happened for 3 years, okay? Or other gaming conventions. This is pretty similar to the Nintendo Direct. The thing that really irks me is that quite often we get what outlets will refer to that has happened over the 3 years for the summer game showcases as E3, and that is not correct. But I just jumped the gun here. This is pretty similar to the Nintendo Direct, something that gamers are always looking forward to. We don't know yet if this will become a recurring event. However, if it will be, then it could be a step in the right direction. That's all they have right now for this. So what we do know right now is we'll get some Elder Scrolls Online, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends, and Redfall. I would love Avowed. I'm not putting any, real stock into seeing Avowed anytime soon. I feel like Avowed has gotten a back seat from them right now, unfortunately. Maybe they're just trying to be real quiet about it. I don't know. I would love to see Avowed stuff this year. It doesn't need to release this year, but dude, we have been waiting a long time for some Avowed stuff. So I don't know. Maybe they'll surprise us. Who knows? There are a lot of us in this community that want some Avowed. And there was a bunch of hype around the summer showcases last year that Avowed was going to be showed specifically at the Xbox showcase. Nothing, and it was a bit of a disappointment. I would say a huge disappointment, actually. So we'll just have to wait and see. Here's the thing I'll note. The Microsoft did not have the greatest of 2022s. 2 of their biggest titles are Redfall and Starfield that were supposed to release last calendar year. But the calendar year is different than the fiscal year for gaming companies. Okay, the fiscal year runs from April 1st of one year till the end of March the next year. So what that means is their fiscal year, the year that they count numbers and profits and margins and all that stuff, runs from basically April 1st of 2022 through March 31st of 2023. So they still have time to pump their numbers up, which means that I'm actually expecting them to get one of these titles that they've said delayed from last year, Redfall and Starfield, under Bethesda, to release in the first half of this year. I'm expecting one of these to release before the end of the fiscal year, okay? I don't have any kind of definitive information that that's actually going to happen, but I think Xbox needs that to happen to pump their numbers up a bit, for investors and things like that. It's random mode time. Get them in there, guys. So that's just my take, and we'll see what happens. Game Pass, January 2023, Persona and Monster Hunter. We hit on these a little bit. This is what you need to know. January 2023, we're getting Monster Hunter Rise, Persona 3 Portable, and Persona 4 Golden. All right. Some games will also be leaving. When do these hit? January 19th. Okay. That's when these games will be hitting. Don't you read my bio? Yo, I'm fantastic, buddy. Happy Thursday. How you doing? What's up? So Persona 3 Portal 1, Persona 4 Golden arrive on January 19th. Monster Hunter Rise, on the other hand, arrives 1 day later on January 20th. Okay? So the games leaving this month are Danganronpa, Nobody Saves the World, Paparazzi, The Anacrusis, Windjammers 2, and We Happy Few. That's what you need to know. If you need this article, if you got the Game Pass, there you go. There's your info. Here's another Microsoft. This is actually a wild article for me. Windows 11 has been really, really terrible for gamers up to this point. So it's funny for me to see this. Microsoft. There we go. Let's get that follow. Look at that. Look at that. Microsoft reiterates Windows 11 22H2 is the best thing for gaming with a bit awkward video. Look, the thing that's really, really wild about this is Windows 11 from its release has been noted at being very, very terrible for gamers, actually, for gaming. To the point of they were like, look, if you want to make Windows 11 better for you as a gamer, you'll need to turn off some of these services for Windows, but it will actually present some pretty bad vulnerabilities while the services are turned off. I don't want to... I think they patched a lot of that up. They got a lot of that fixed, but for a while, months, they were promoting that as what gamers should do if they were having significant issues. That's a crappy workaround because you're talking about presenting significant vulnerabilities in your operating system where potentially malicious actors can get in and do some pretty nasty stuff to your PC or you know what I mean? So let's see what they're saying here. One thing most corporations love doing from time to time is reminding users about all the great features and benefits their platforms provide. Microsoft is no different in this regard either. The latest such example comes in the form of new upgrade alerts for OneDrive subscribers. And yesterday, the Redmond Giant published a new video and blog post reminding everyone about the benefits of gaming on Windows 11. The article is titled Windows 11 Makes It Easier to Play. It contains a few typical marketing jargons like we want to make sure this version of Windows is the best version of Windows for gaming possible. And the Game Pass widget brings games closer to you. In brief, the blog post is mainly talking about two new gaming-related features Microsoft introduced in the new Windows 11 version 22H2 update. Controller bar and Xbox Game Pass widget. Look, controller bar is also something on Windows platforms that has caused a lot of issues over the years, not just on Windows 11, but on a lot of Windows operating systems. I usually just turn it off because it creates issues. The company has also asked for feedback from the community. The article is accompanied by a video as well, and the acting inside it could come off as a bit awkward in the beginning, though that is somewhat understandable as these are engineers and product managers in the video and not professional actors. Yeah, this is similar to March last year when the company introduced direct storage on PCs. Direct storage, by the way, is about the only reason I am anticipating the new game coming out from Square. God, why can't I think about what's the name of that game? The Magic Parkour. God, why can't I think of the name of that game right now? It's the first game coming to PC that's going to utilize direct storage. And other than that, there's some really scary stuff about that game being delayed, the demo, how the demo was made, things like that. I can't think of the name of it right now. That sucks. All right, let's see what Windows is saying here.
I am. It's a trick question. We want to make sure that this version of Windows is the best version of Windows for gaming possible.
We always think of PC gaming as just keyboard and mouse. However, there are a lot of people who are using controller. People close their laptop and just put it next to the TV.
Let's say you're gaming from your couch and you want to just launch into a game. It's difficult to go over to your laptop, go through a bunch of different surfaces.
We really want to remove as many steps as we can so you can find the game you want, dive in, and get right into the action.
Controller bar is a new UI that we created to launch right into games or gaming apps.
This isn't a very long video, so we'll just see it real quick.
You can just press the Xbox button.
And from there you can navigate.
Yo, isn't that their controller that only costs like $200?
And then a button to bring you back to game bar, other widgets, and settings. It's customizable. It fits in with the gaming features that we already have in Windows.
You want to be able to really quickly get to the feature you want and then back to the game with as little friction as possible.
The Game Pass widget brings games closer. Widgets are originally designed to be glanceable, so while you're doing other things, you might discover, oh, there's a new game.
The Game Pass catalog has so many titles. There's a rotating set of games that come through there. My favorite is actually like, new releases.
And there's also a great way to jump back into your recently played games. So that way you spend less time figuring out how to get there. And if you're there, in one click. We're gonna have some recommendations for you as well, depending on what games you've played, what games we believe you like.
Cloud gaming is a great feature through the widget. Even if you don't have the storage or the capacity,
what's up, my dude?
It's really accessible in that sense. Game from
how are you, buddy? Happy Thursday, man.
It's so easy to
like
get
cloud
into
gaming,
a game
sick,
and
dude.
start to invite your friends so that they can join you.
I mean, it's becoming more and more popular,
never
man.
Completely finished. It's always an ongoing process.
Oh, there's so much happening, and I'm very excited for
I think there's good reason behind it.
In the future.
If you have feedback, let us know. We want to know what features you want to see next.
Is that like the music that forces me out the stage?
Less downloading, so much. It's very streamlined, dude. It's very intuitive. I think the big caveat to it is connectivity. You know what I mean? Because it's a big thing for people on the go too. Cloud gaming is, but it's like it's reliant on that connectivity, right? So, but it's becoming more and more prominent because connectivity is always becoming, more widely available and better. And so I think that's why we're seeing it become a more adopted and incorporated part of our gaming world, right? Here's the thing. What they're talking about here is not bad stuff, right? At all. More streamlined, intuitive ways to incorporate gaming into your tech, and obviously Microsoft is a lot of PC. It's a lot of console stuff, and being able to switch between very seamlessly playing on one or the other and things like that, and just the other tools that they have available, that's good, right? But what they're failing to recognize here is the issues I talked about before. Windows 11 has had significant issues for gamers. Windows 11 specifically. So before anybody looks at what this video had to offer and goes, Windows 11 seems amazing, you should take some time to really educate yourself on how good Windows 11 is for gamers right now, as opposed to just sticking with Windows 10 for a while longer. Okay, that's my advice. Windows 11 has had significant issues for gaming on that operating system as of current. Okay, so just be very aware of that. Again, I think they've fixed some of the major issues up to this point, but I'm talking for months, man. They were talking about having to turn off specific services for your operating system for Windows 11 that would basically result in you having significant vulnerabilities in your operating system that leaves you open to very, very bad things to happen potentially for your device. Okay, so just be careful. All right, my advice is just, if you're a big gamer, if you're gaming big time on a platform, on a PC that is a Windows PC, stick with Windows 10 for a little bit longer. That's my advice. Okay. Give them a little bit more time to bake this. Give them a little bit more time to work out some of these kinks for this new operating system before you upgrade. That's my own advice. But look, do your research. Figure out what's going to be best for you. If you need that article, I'll give that to you. Hold on. Sorry. In Google Stadia's final week, fans are banding together to mourn its demise. Okay, we now have official time of death for the platform. We've known of Stadia's imminent January 18 shutdown since September 20 of last year, right? But Google has now unveiled its official time of death as 11:59 p.m. So they're going to leave it up that entire day until the very last minute. With only 7 days remaining until the platform shuffles off this mortal coil, its small but dedicated fan base is banding together to mourn what could have been. The Stadia subreddit has had long time and returning players trickling in to pay respects. Some have been sharing their playtime, having poured thousands of hours into games like Crata, Dead by Daylight, and Destiny 2. Others have been thanking Stadia for being their platform of choice over the years. One Reddit user said, "As a dad with little time to game, Stadia was great for me, adding it was so easy to just open a browser and play." Some Stadia fans are even trying to set up farewell parties for its final day of life, along with a couple of Reddit posts suggesting the idea. An event over on the official Stadia Discord titled A Last Hurrah currently has 377 signups. The plan seems to be for everyone to group up in a chosen game and get one last good session out of the platform on January 17th before it's official gone for good. As the final days are upon us, refunds are still trickling through and games are beginning to shutter their doors. Destiny 2 closed its Stadia servers on January 10th, an early warning for those to transfer their character data over to another platform before it goes kaput completely. Many other games like Red Dead Redemption 2, Dead by Daylight, and Hitman are also offering easy save transfer services to other platforms. Sadly, that's not the case for every game. Stadia exclusive Outcasters will be gone for good, with developer Splash Damage announcing in October of last year it did not, quote, have plans to bring Outcasters to other platforms at this time. Despite the problems Stadia has faced throughout its 3-year life, it's still a mighty shame to see a platform trying to do something different and fail. Coupled with the fact that Stadia developers didn't know that the platform was being killed off, it's a sad, albeit unsurprising outcome regardless of how anyone felt about it. Guess we can just add it to the ever-growing list of projects Google has poured tons of money into and promptly buried. Yeah, we heard unconfirmed news that Stadia was shutting down throughout the entirety almost of last year before Google finally confirmed. They kept kind of denying it. Stadia's fine, Stadia's fine, Stadia's fine before, like September of last year, they're like, okay, yeah, we're shutting it down. But, kudos to Google for basically going, look, if you bought into the platform, we're going to refund you. Whether it be hardware or software, we're going to refund you. And they did their very best, it seems, to coordinate with software developers that had the software that was on Stadia that was also on other platforms to figure out ways to allow players to transfer those saved game states into other platforms so they weren't going to lose all that game time, right? So seems like they did the very best they could in this kind of situation. F's in chat for Stadia, baby. It is dying. Is almost dead. Amazon Games executive becomes latest to depart struggling unit. John Smedley, a video game industry veteran who's been running Amazon Game Studios' San Diego office, is leaving Amazon Gaming alongside the company's plans to cut 18,000 jobs. What? Smedley spent most of his career with Sony, where he worked on hits including EverQuest and Star Wars Galaxies. None of the projects on which he's worked for Amazon since 2017 have been released. The company is planning to cut 18,000 jobs. Dude, that is terrible. Brutal. PlayStation Plus Extra Deluxe Premium Games for January. Here you go, PS Plus subscribers. PS Plus Extra and Deluxe games coming on 17 January. Back for Blood, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Devil May Cry 5, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Life is Strange, Life is Strange Before the Storm, Sayonara, Wild Hearts, Jet the Far Shore, Just Cause 4 Reloaded, Omno, and Erica. PlayStation Plus Deluxe games 17 January, Siphon Filter 3, Star Wars Demolition, and Hot Shots Golf 2. In addition to these titles, Essential subscribers are now able to download their monthly free games, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Axiom Verge 2, and Fallout 76. All right. If you need more info about all that, it's right there in chat, baby. There you go. Razer wins big, takes home multiple awards at CES 2023. CES 2023 was a knockout event for Razer, who furthermore solidified its position as the leader in lifestyle brands for gamers. By the end of the event, they won a total of 46 awards for their products. Additionally, they showcased new products and more, which earned them praise from attendees. To see details on the products mentioned before, as well as a full list of awards, read below. Look, I have not really experienced Razer stuff. It usually seems kind of overpriced to me. Razer stuff does. But they do seem pretty creative and inventive and like solid products. I have seen some other things. I've come close to buying some products before that I saw reviews on that were like, it's expensive and it breaks. And it made me wary of maybe not trying some Razer stuff. But I've had other people in the community telling me that they've had good experiences with Razer products. So I don't know. Maybe I need to give them a shot. Razer Edge. Here you go for your cloud gaming enthusiasts. The ultimate Android gaming handheld developed with a 6. We knew this was coming. We'd seen some stuff about this previously. Developed with a 6.8-inch AMOLED display and a 2400 by 1080 fully high-def resolution that boasts a 144 hertz refresh rate. The Razer Edge is ideal for always connected mobile gaming experience. Look, this is what we're talking about, though, right? There are a lot of handhelds that are coming about after the popularity of handhelds, like primarily the Switch and the more recent Steam Deck, right? But the difference being a lot of these handhelds coming out in while similar to those in style and hardware, especially to the Steam Deck, because it's a more modern than the Switch is, these are aimed at cloud gaming, okay? You've got Logitech and Tencent made one. Razer's got one. There are a lot of like kind of knockoff versions of brands you probably haven't heard of, and I'd be very wary of those. But a lot of these are are aimed at cloud gaming. Now, the big caveat here is that this always connected mobile gaming experience, right? You have to have connectivity, and you need subscription services, right? The handheld is the first device powered and developed exclusively for the latest Snapdragon G3X Gen 1 gaming platform. Purpose-built with active cooling for long gaming sessions, playing top AAA titles and native games on the go without having to compromise performance. Looks like they've got the Razer Blade 16. World's first 16-inch dual mode mini LED display. Razer Blade 18. Desktop replacement. These are, I think, laptops, right? Yeah, laptops. Leviathan V2 Pro soundbar. Beamforming soundbar with head tracking AI. Designed to deliver immersive 3D audio. Keo Pro Ultra. Largest sensor ever in a webcam. Project Carol. First head cushion with enveloping near-field surround sound and haptics. They've got all the awards down here that they won, all that stuff. And if you're interested in some of these products that they have shown off at CES that they're probably going to start producing very soon, a lot of times some of the stuff you'll see at CES are prototypes. What? Xbox Series Z? Where are you seeing that at, dude? I haven't heard anything about an Xbox Series Z. It doesn't mean it's not real. Portable. Where'd you see this at? I'll look it up. I'll look it up, see if I can find it. But if you're interested in any of these, this stuff from Razer, looks like they did a pretty good job here at the CES show recently, and they're usually pretty trend-setting with a lot of their tech and stuff. Okay, we'll see if we can find it. Reject. There's been some rumor mill stuff. Oh, no, that's fine, dude. No, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's been a lot of rumor mill stuff about Xbox and PlayStation both potentially coming up with their own kind of portable gaming devices, potentially. You know, I think what they have to take a look at is with all the other handheld devices, is it going to be worth for them? You know? Probably more for Sony, I think, than it would be for Xbox. You know? Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll look it up. If you think about it, I think that something for PlayStation, because PlayStation still does so much proprietary gaming stuff, them making their own portable console. Sony does have the PSP, right? But I'm talking about a more modern. How old's the PSP now, dude? It's got some age on it. Am I right? How old's the PSP? Let's take a look real quick. This is pretty old at this point. It was discontinued, dude, in January of 2014. It's very old. So it's not even. Yo, Keith, what's up, buddy? Yo, we still got DS around here. We still got a Nintendo DS around here. Yeah, for sure. I had to replace the battery in it about a year or two ago. The battery was starting to go crazy and beef up in it, man. I had to pull it out and replace it. But I mean, you're talking about the PSP is I mean, we're talking about modern stuff, right? Potential like prototype in the works development kind of stuff, not anything that's currently released or is old stuff, right? Reject. So you're talking about a PSP, man. That's some old school stuff right there. So as far as let's look at this up. Man, right there. Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured as much. I figured as much. I mean, the fact that I do the news segment every single day and we haven't hit on anything about it really. The most I've gotten is some real unsubstantial talk about the potential for either Xbox or PlayStation or both to do some kind of handheld. That there is the potential for them to be working on that. But the fact that we do the news every day and I haven't come across anything semi worth putting any stock in, you know what I mean? It makes me feel like either they're doing a very good job at keeping it under wraps from either one of these console makers, or they are just not really close to having anything substantial at this point, you know? I think what you're going to see is, because Game Pass is playable on Steam Deck, right? Isn't that right? You can find ways to run Game Pass on Steam Deck already, and that's a big deal, right? Whereas, like, can you do PS Plus? I don't think so. Apparently you can. All right. So when you talk about things like this now, the difference being, here's the big difference between these two things as well when you talk about this kind of thing, right? With PS Plus, yeah, you might be able to get the Steam Deck to run something like PS Plus subscription service, so you can play all those games on your Steam Deck. So there are already mobile devices, ways to get current mobile devices to play the subscription services, right? So that's something that's probably going to be a bit of a turnoff towards these developers making a console, maybe a little bit. But the big thing for Xbox is that they release all their proprietary games, their Xbox only games on PC and on their subscription service day one, right? Whereas PlayStation doesn't. So that might create a bit of a difference there in how much of a propensity either one of these developer has towards maybe making their own handheld device. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Again, I mean, we do the news every day. If something comes up about either one of these developers coming up with a handheld device, I'm sure we'll see it, man. Yeah. The Last of Us fans warned of scams involving fake PC games. Sites are offering non-existent PC versions of The Last of Us while targeting victims' PCs and bank details. Be careful, guys. Ahead of HBO's The Last of Us TV adaptation debuting this week, we're talking 3 days right now, newcomers to Naughty Dog's franchise have been warned to steer clear of fake sites offering non-existent versions of the game. In a report, antivirus provider Kaspersky has shared that it expects HBO's adaptation to be a real boom, though warns that viewers who have never heard of the series before and are unaware it is currently a PlayStation exclusive are vulnerable to criminals who are offering fake PC versions of the game. Kaspersky says it has already discovered a site offering downloads for The Last of Us Part 2 on PC, despite it being a PlayStation exclusive, and in reality, it's peddling malicious files to players. The company also reports the existence of a phishing site that offers an activation code, quote-unquote activation code, for The Last of Us, which will not arrive on PC until March 3rd this year. Site users are then reportedly prompted to select a gift with the game, ranging from a PS5 to a Roblox gift card, along with their bank details, which then end up in criminal hands. Instead of offering pre-access to the series, cybercriminals have chosen a different path and are distributing malicious files under the guise of a game, commented Olga Svistunova, web content analyst at Kaspersky. This shows that gamers, especially the new ones who don't yet know enough about cybersecurity when playing, are among the main target audience for cybercriminals, and they will come up with more and more ways to exploit them. Cybercriminals are pretty inventive, clever, smart individuals. There usually ends up being these areas of these malicious actors finding very clever ways to dupe people. It becomes recognized. The information about what they're doing gets disseminated. People catch on, and then they end up finding some different way to do it again. It's a cycle. It's very cyclical, right? But you need to be careful. To avoid these scams, Svistunova recommends buyers check if your coveted game is available on the platform offered, download games only from official app stores, and don't forget to use a trusted security solution. Yeah. Again, yep, The Last of Us comes out in 3 days now on HBO Max, all right? Stream it on HBO. It looks like it could be very, very good. I'm actually pretty interested. Ubisoft delays Skull and Bones, cancels more games, and announces new cuts. I've harped a lot on Ubisoft here lately, and I know I catch a little bit of grief on it from people. But look, I think there's it's not necessarily unwarranted, right? I've seen Ubisoft kind of falling a bit as of late over the past couple of years, and it seems like they have a really tough time doing anything that is outside of their norm anymore, which is not necessarily, they're not the only developer that has had this issue as of late, but they're a very good example of it. And here we go again, man, with more news on that front from them. So, Ubisoft held an emergency call with investors on Wednesday to reveal that the company's 2022 sales had fallen well below expectations, that it would be taking drastic measures going forward, including canceling 3 more unannounced games. Let's be clear here, though. Large developers almost always have a plethora of games in some state of development. And that can mean anything from very, very early to late game development. And there are always games being put into a development state and games being scrapped. Okay, so just because 3 games from Ubisoft are being scrapped, you can't tell a whole lot just from that statement. Delaying Skull and Bones a few months yet again. Look, this is about the 6th or 7th delay in the past 4 to 5 years for this game. I would steer very, very, very clear of Skull and Bones, no matter how hype you are. Steer clear of this game if it ever actually sees the light of day. That's too much. Cutting roughly $215 million in costs over the next 2 years, with some of the savings coming from a smaller headcount at the over 20,000 person publisher. Today, more than ever, I need your full energy and commitment to ensure we get back on the path to success. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot wrote in an email to staff, a copy of which was viewed by Kotaku. I'm also asking that each of you be especially careful and strategic with your spending and initiatives to ensure that we're being as efficient and lean as possible. Lots of publishers faced game delays during the pandemic, but Ubisoft was hit harder than most. Skull and Bones, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, and Assassin's Creed Mirage were all at one time or another expected to ship by the end of last year. Guillemot told staff that these delays have weighed on our costs and decreased our associated revenues. The company is now projecting a roughly $537 million loss for the fiscal year ending in March of 2023. Skull and Bones development, that's a $500 million loss for the end of this fiscal year. Skull and Bones development continues to be the poster child for these sorts of issues at Ubisoft. Emerging from radio silence after a major reboot to finally launch last September, it was pushed at the last minute to March of 2023 to improve and polish the gameplay in response to tester feedback. In recent months, Kotaku understands that a strike team has been set up in Ubisoft's Paris studio to try and get the game over the finish line. However, the company maintains that Ubisoft Singapore remains the lead studio on the project. While Skull and Bones is now complete, we are using the remaining time until our launch to leverage feedback from our ongoing technical tests and upcoming open beta to polish and balance the experience. A spokesperson for Ubisoft told Kotaku in an email, to fully deliver on this launch, we are leveraging the full power of co-developing studios already involved in the development process, including Ubisoft Paris Studio. Ubisoft Singapore remains the lead studio on Skull and Bones, and the team is working full speed on the game experience and the development of its robust post-launch content. Though Guillemot told investors during today's call that the project has been making great progress, of course he's going to say that, and will now launch this spring, it has clearly not made enough to finally ship, coming up on 6 years after it was first revealed. Whether the game ends up being good or not, current and former developers Kotaku has spoken with as recently as last month are skeptical it can be a major seller. I would not put any kind of stock in this. Guillemot told investors a similar issue with Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope was one of the reasons the company is now forecasting major losses for the year. Despite a big marketing budget and critical acclaim, the game didn't meet sales expectations coming out of the holiday. Neither did Just Dance 2023, the company's only other major release last fall. At time of year, they would normally have boasted another giant Assassin's Creed blockbuster. To deal with the losses, Ubisoft has now canceled 3 more unannounced games in addition to the 4 that were previously canceled last year. Also written off around over $500 million worth of research and development costs associated with the upcoming and canceled games. The company is planning to slice through roughly over $200 million in costs from its operating budget over the next 2 years. This will be achieved through targeting restructuring, divesting some non-core assets, and usual natural attrition. The company told investors Ubisoft will continue to look at hiring highly talented people for its biggest brands and live services. 3 current and former Ubisoft developers who wish to remain anonymous because they were not authorized to speak about company plans recently told Kotaku they are already seeing cuts by way of fewer backfills for recently departed colleagues and fewer contracts getting renewed for those working on a temporary basis. Also said there were layoffs across some of Ubisoft's U.S. locations last fall, including its San Francisco office. A spokesperson for Ubisoft said only 27 positions were eliminated as part of this restructuring. Yeah, I mean, we've heard from Ubisoft as well. They've got a lot of Assassin's Creed stuff in the pipeline, right? We know that. But it does seem like that's about one of the only things they can push out right now, aside from maybe some Far Cry stuff, some Tom Clancy stuff maybe, and some Division stuff, you know what I mean? Which is Tom Clancy, if I remember correctly. But currently, they're having a tough time. They have been. Here's the thing. Last year, in the day and age that we are in of the gaming industry, with what is the prominence of acquisitions, currently at the top of that, is the currently pending but significantly roadblocked Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard, some other notable organizations or studios that had been discussed as potential sellers or studios to be bought last year were Ubisoft, EA, and Square Enix. We did see Square Enix sell off a lot of its North American studios, so they did do some selling off. Not totally, though. They weren't totally bought out. But Ubisoft is looking like a company that might go down this year, might end up getting purchased out. You talk about a company like Embracer that has been coming in and buying a lot of studios, especially studios they know they can get IPs out of. Like last year, they are the ones that bought the North American development studios out from under Square Enix. They also got the IPs from Square Enix of Thief, Deus Ex, and Tomb Raider, right? So who's to say some big, giant company like Embracer wouldn't come in and try to grab Ubisoft while they're at this low point and grab some of these notable IPs they have under their belt, such as a lot of this Tom Clancy stuff, the Assassin's Creed IPs. It could absolutely happen, So the fact that Ubisoft was one of the companies already in talks last year as a company that could be one of the next to be bought, this, I think, really puts them in a position to be at the height or the top of those talks for this coming year as well. We'll see what happens. So Ubisoft developer says achievements and trophies are bad for gaming. What do you guys think? Okay, I'll read this, but what do you think? An Ubisoft developer has a bone to pick with achievements and trophies. Achievements were introduced into the gaming zeitgeist in 2005 with the release of the Xbox 360. They gave users points for beating the game, certain levels, and accomplishing various goals within the game. It's really just bragging rights. Yeah, you flex, dude. It's a flex. But achievement hunting has become a big hobby for players over the years, as some gamers have super easy achievements and some require the strongest wills to complete. PlayStation and Steam would add their own versions of achievements later on, with the PlayStation calling them trophies, awarding users a platinum trophy if they got all the other ones for a game. Epic is currently incorporating their own achievements on their platform as well. However, it sounds like some folks don't really like achievements. As spotted by True Achievements, Ubisoft massive lead gameplay designer Frederick Thylander stated on Twitter that he thinks achievements have been bad for gaming. He noted that they narrow games down, take away resources from development, and divert attention. Of course, it's worth pointing out that this is Thylander's personal opinion and not reflective of Ubisoft itself. While other Twitter users noted that it was a good reward system for players, Thylander suggested that it would be better if games were allowed to implement their own rewards and progression system outside of the ones mandated by platform holders. Ultimately, Thylander seemed to be in the minority on this. That's also largely because he's speaking from the developer side of things. From the outside, a lot of players have zero idea what goes on into making achievements or how much time it eats up in the development process. Some also noted that certain game achievements encourage replayability. Yeah. Some titles include achievements for harder difficulties, collectibles, and doing certain objectives that require you to play the game a specific way, beating a game without killing anyone, for instance. Either way, it doesn't seem like achievements are going away anytime soon, but it's a unique perspective on things. Yeah, look, I don't necessarily disagree with what Frederick Thylander is stating here, right? I think that having to focus as a developer between the different specific platforms that you're developing a game for and having to have different achievements. A lot of achievements can be the same thing. They just have to be developed for presenting the achievements for each specific platform as they're achieved. It's not necessarily probably a fun thing for developers. I get that. But gamers like to flex, whether it be, a lot of it has to do with your profile and certain kinds of things that you've been able to accomplish, right? And that's what gaming is to a great extent. It's competitive. You want to be able to show off what you've done. And, how are you going to do that with each individual game doing its own kind of achievements? It doesn't work like that. That's why each platform gives everybody an overarching way to kind of have a profile on PlayStation or on Xbox or on Steam or what have you, that allows you to really kind of have a nice profile and show off your more rare achievements and accomplishments and stuff. So that's why it's such a popular thing for gamers. It does promote replayability. Ask our buddy Gamer Extreme from here in this community. You talk about somebody that cannot stop hunting achievements. That is our personality here in this community. Gamer Extreme is always conflicted about moving on to other games because he wants to play other games, but he cannot quit until, it seems like anyways, cannot quit until he gets all the achievements or trophies out of a specific title that he started. So it is a very, very, very I would say almost an addictive thing for some people to have to get all of them before you move on, and it does promote replayability. So to an extent, it is good for some software developers because it does promote replayability. For me, myself, I think I enjoy always seeing like, oh, cool. I play most of my titles I play on Steam. So I get achievements as I play, and usually whenever I play a game, I'm going to get about roughly 70% of the achievements just playing it through my initial playthrough, right? And it's fun. I like seeing the achievements come up and go, oh, hey, you did something notable, right? So you take a look, it's like, oh, that's fun. I didn't know how to get an achievement for that. That's interesting. I like that. I think it's fun. It's a cool little addition to just being a game player. And not only that, but I kind of pride myself a little bit on playing games in a very difficult manner. Usually I play games on the most difficult settings, which means quite often I'm going to get achievements on Steam that not a large majority of people are going to end up obtaining. So I get some rare achievements here and there. And it's nice to have those as a little bit of a flex, right? And I think a lot of other gamers can attest to that fact. So I don't know, man. I understand where this individual is coming from, but I think most gamers enjoy achievements or trophies. Last article I have, it's a long day. It's a long news day. We've had a lot of news here recently, man. It's been extensive, so I do apologize, but it's been good news. So last one I have, then we'll move on to gaming. Latest gaming news, the Hogwarts Legacy voice cast has been revealed as Xbox is gearing up for a showcase. We already know they got the showcase coming on the 25th. In today's gaming news, the voice cast for Hogwarts Legacy has been revealed. There's an Xbox showcase releasing later this month, and Ubisoft has reportedly canceled 3 of its games. Yep, we heard about that. So the voice cast, this is what we're really interested in. The voice cast for Hogwarts Legacy has been revealed. Please welcome Simon Pegg as Headmaster Phineas. Is it Nigellus Black? Headmaster Phineas Nigellus Black. That's awesome, dude. Simon Pegg. Even though the game has been shown off for months, the Hogwarts Legacy team has been keeping the voice cast close to their chest, but wonder no longer, as they have finally revealed their main voice cast. Headlining the group of actors is Simon Pegg, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. Yeah, lots of very famous actor, funny guy too, who's playing the great-great-grandfather of Sirius Black, Headmaster Phineas Nigellus Black. In addition to Pegg, they also announced that Sebastian Croft and Amelia Gething will be voicing the player character. To see the full list of who Avalanche Software announced for the game, you can read more about it at this link. Hogwarts Legacy is set to be released on February 10th on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. Here's that link as well. That's pretty cool. I'll give you guys both of these, okay? Simon Pegg, dude. Very cool. I like Simon Pegg. Nice, nice. There you go, guys. That's what I got. One more note. You literally have about an hour and a half left. Hour and a half left, not even. An hour left to get your free games on Epic before Kerbal Space Program and Shadow Tactics standalone expansion, Aiko's Choice, are free for another hour, okay? And these will be no longer available for free after another hour. It will then be First Class Trouble and Game Deck Definitive Edition. Go get your free games, dude. They're free. All you got to do is make an account and go grab these for free. All it takes is about 5 minutes. Do it, man. I don't see any reason not to. That's what I got. Sorry, long news segment. Reject. I'll hit on that in just a moment, buddy. You guys rock. Thank you very much for being the amazing people you are and for helping to create such an awesome place and community for myself and the rest of us to hang out every single day and enjoy each other's company, enjoy keeping up with what's going on in the gaming industry, and just playing games together, which is what we're about to go do right now, all right? We're going to be heading over to do day 32 of Breath of the Wild. We're probably going to need a few more days to really finish this up and move on to our The Forest game playthrough. But we got a few more days here. So if anybody is checking out this content after it was live as a VOD on our Twitch channel or on our YouTube channel and you're enjoying the content, see what you can do about trying to come and hang out with myself and the rest of these amazing people that are part of this community whenever we go live at 6 a.m. CST every single day. We start off with video gaming news. We've had a couple of long segments here lately. I do apologize, but it's been good news. Before we move on to whatever gameplay we have slated for the rest of the day, okay? Other than that, you guys stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we will catch everybody tomorrow for January 13th edition of Video Gaming News, and it will be day 33 of Breath of the Wild. All right?